What do you know about cognitive dissonance? Are we going to get all technical and kind of psycho-y and detailed and mind blast stuff? Yes, we are. Let's find out what we're talking about. So, cognitive dissonance, what is it? Well, if you don't know what it is, essentially it's the idea of what you say and what you know compared to what you actually do. So a classic example would be people who know that eating a load of junk food makes you fat and yet eat it. Yeah, perhaps there's no sort of logic in that. You know something is particularly bad or wrong, but you do it anyway. And so that's the kind of the overall thing. So how does that fit into my kind of vibe on things, and how is it relevant to you? I think there's a number of things that we, particularly if we want to take advantage of experiences and knowledge and passion and profit from our passion, which is the whole point of my whole kind of thing here. There's a number of things that we perhaps, I say, should or need to do, or it would be better if we were doing to make that happen, whether that's sort of becoming more educated in certain aspects, whether that's business or self-development, that kind of thing, or eating better and just living a healthier life, all that kind of good stuff. There's many things that would be better if we were doing, and yet we don't do them. And I suppose the question is why? Why is that? Why does that happen, and why is that such a problem? If you speak to someone, or put the question out to you, and you ask someone, what are your, I suppose, important things in life? What are they? People say, well, family, or my business, or whatever it may be. There's a sort of number of sort of typical things that are most important to each individual, and it's very subjective, obviously. But then if you look at what they do on a daily basis and in their spare time, that kind of thing, it's quite interesting to see how often the things that people do first or as a priority aren't actually connected to the things they hold most precious or most important. My most important thing is my family, and yet they will, on the way home, go to the pub and spend all evening in the pub with their friends, as an example, and perhaps an exaggerated example, but so rather than spending time with the family and then doing that kind of thing, so it's what people often say or what they think is their kind of goal, or what thing that's most important to them, often is completely different to what they are actually doing. And if you're saying, I want to build a business, I want to profit from my passion, I want to take advantage of this and build this into something so I don't have to do my 9-to-5 job, then that's fine, perfect. But if you look at then your behaviour around that, what are you doing for that? Are you still watching, tons of stuff on Netflix, or going out and all this kind of other stuff that isn't really congruent to that idea of building the business or profiting from the passion and taking advantage of it? So it's very easy to have the idea and almost the ideal of these various things, but unless you're actually doing the things that will end up enabling that thing to happen, then it's sort of never going to happen. And at that point, it's just an idea, it's just a theory, and it will just continue like that forever, because it's like saying, well, I want to learn to swim, I'm going to learn to swim, but you never ever actually get into a swimming pool. You can read all the books you like about swimming, but unless you actually get in the water and do it, you won't be swimming. Unless you actually do the thing, you won't ever succeed in it. You actually have to start and then do the required, I won't say behaviours, but at least the required things that are required for that particular thing. Like if it's a business, learning a bit about the subject and marketing and that sort of thing, as opposed to just watching box sets in your spare time and thinking, yeah, I'm going to do that business. And then what are you actually doing for that business? What are you doing to change your life? If you're not happy with your weight or something like that, what are you doing to change that? It's down to you ultimately. It's not down to no one else, and there's ultimately your decision on what you do every single day. Be very aware of what you say you want and then what you're actually doing. And it's, I'm not sort of specifically picking on anyone in particular. We all do it. We all do it like so often, and so it's so common that we do this thing. And it's, you know, it's such a shame, and that's why it's such an interesting subject, because often there is another reason why. It's because what we like to be heard saying. So, you know, if you're saying, well, you know, I want to be building a business, or I want to be getting fit, I'm going to train for the marathon, whatever it may be, and yet we're not doing it, but saying we're doing it, the people don't necessarily know what we're doing every single minute of our day, so there's that perception that you are doing it, and so you kind of, in many ways, you're doing it yourself without actually doing it. It's a bit of a strange one, because, yeah, psychologically, it's easy almost to convince yourself you're doing it, even without doing it, because you're telling everyone you're doing it.
Say what?
If that makes any sense at all. Whether or not it's just because of telling people, or whether it's because of you just wanting to do it and you've got fear of doing it, or fear of success, or fear of failure, whatever it may be, you're saying you're doing it, or even wanting to do it, or dreaming of doing it, but you're not actually doing it. Then the question is, you know, why? Why is that? Why do we often say we're going to do things, or say we're doing things to other people, and we're not doing them? And one reason could be because it's not what we're truly passionate about. And this comes back to everything I speak about sort of profiting from your passion and starting a business around your passion. Because ultimately, if you're trying to do something you're not really bothered or not that passionate about, the slightest excuse or the slightest reason, you'll stop. You won't do it because you haven't got that driving passion. Whereas if you're passionate about it, you'll do it anyway, rain or shine, paid or not paid. And that's the point, and that's the driving factor. If you find yourself saying, you know, I'm going to be doing this, I want to do this, do you really, is my sort of challenge to that. Because if you did, you would at least be doing something towards it. You may not be doing everything and going all in, but you'll be doing something. And if there's something holding you back from doing it, what is that thing? You know, identify it. You know, is it a fear of success, fear of failure, or something like that? Or is it really because it's not something you particularly want to do, but you just like the idea of? And there's so many people these days, and it's amazing. Everyone these days is very trendy to call yourself an entrepreneur. And probably about 90% of the people who call themselves entrepreneurs aren't entrepreneurs at all, in the slightest. And it's been said many times, and I know my friend...
My name is Juliana Ostrovska from julianaostrovska.com.
...has mentioned it recently, and it sometimes ruffles a lot of feathers, but being in a network marketing company, being a distributor, does not make you an entrepreneur. If you've got multiple business interests and different things, then that makes you an entrepreneur. Just being in a network marketing company or as an affiliate marketer for something does not make you an entrepreneur. It just makes you a distributor or an affiliate, and that's it. When we kind of cut down and cut out all the around that, and people are honest with themselves and go, okay, you know, I might want to be an entrepreneur, I'm not yet, but I recognise by doing this will help me on that path. And don't get me wrong, network marketing is one of the best routes in to entrepreneurship, but it in itself is not being an entrepreneur. So ultimately, you know, the difference between what we say we do and we do, or what we want people to know that we're doing, often is very different. And this is this cognitive dissonance, and I think it's more prevalent in society than perhaps we would like, or certainly would like to admit. And so it comes back to that, being honest with yourself, and you know, are you doing what you really want, and are you doing what you say you want, and ultimately, is that what you want? So this is super duper deep in a gorgeous afternoon here in the park. Nice lake in the background. I thought I'd just, rather than walk around, I thought it'd be super lazy. Also, it's a little bit cold and very windy, so hopefully you can actually hear me. But that's all we've got time for today. Hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you've got value. And if you have, leave a comment below. Have you found yourself saying you'll do certain things and wanting to do certain things, but actually what you do is very different? Leave a comment below. I'd love to know, because it's much more common than what we think. And if you did get some value, as always, hit that like button so it's nice and blue. Again, I would like to say like the sky, which is a lovely, lovely blue, but on here it's not very blue. And subscribe if you haven't. I love all of you who have. I really do appreciate it. And for now, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Thanks again for watching, guys. I really, really do appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure you do so down here, and check out my other video down here. Remember, live your best life and profit from that passion. See you next time. Bye bye.